I just pulled it up. Did you buy the house last year? Do you know what the monthly payment or the interest rate is?
5.5 and like 1,900 something.
1,900. Was it just built last year?
Yes.
Okay. And then you were just the first homeowner?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, basically with the purchase being so soon, the main problem obviously is like if you were to sell it cash or on the market, you would have to come out of pocket with closing costs, commissions, all that.
Right, that's my problem. That's why I was like, I'm not going to call. I would rather just say screw it.
Right, which is kind of ridiculous. But do you know how far behind the payments are?
6 months maybe.
Okay. And you said the monthly payments are like 1,900?
Call it 2 because it's 19 and some change. I'm not sure exactly what it was.
Right.
Anyway.
So it could be like 14,000 probably behind plus some lawyer fees, I would assume.
I haven't had any lawyer fees. I think.
Well, I guess,
14,000.
yeah, I say that just because when it's in foreclosure, they substitute the trustee on the loan. So they put on some lawyer fees on that total. It's called like, the reinstatement balance. So that total amount that's behind will have a couple more $1,000. It's usually just bigger than what the monthly payment is because they'll have principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and then they'll have lawyer fees just from the trustee. But they'll ask for that full amount due. But can you remember when the auction date was? Was it March or?
I just started getting calls, and I didn't even know that they were going to that process. I was figuring it was just starting at some point. But
Right.
I haven't done paperwork. I haven't talked to anybody.
It's probably then, it could be March or April, but the biggest thing here, and I know it's kind of annoying with you getting a million phone calls and most people don't have many resources to actually get anything done, especially in this situation. So what we'd have to do, and really the only way for you to not lose more money, right, on this kind of situation, just because the equity, is we catch up the 15,000 or so that is behind, and we make the loan current, and we buy the house just taking over that financing. So instead of you having to lose or spend any money, we would be stopping the foreclosure and purchasing the house at that financing that you have. The alternative. Yep. Yeah. So we buy it subject to.
How easy is that to accomplish?
We do it. I mean, I bought 3 houses this month in the same situation. So it's anytime there's not enough equity and it's in behind on payments, or even if they're not, right? We'll buy houses this way that they bought it last year and they list the house on the market. They're current, but if they sold it, paid closing costs, commissions, they'd have to bring like 10 to 15 grand just to sell the house. So, right. And right now your credit's unfortunately probably taking a big hit, but the biggest thing is foreclosures, a 7 and 10 year nightmare versus some missed mortgage payments. So what we'll do is we'll make it current. We'll buy the house. We use a servicing company and obviously title companies that draft all the paperwork correctly that are specialized in this kind of thing. And then, once we close, we have the deed, we take over those payments. And so it's able to be done a lot quicker, and it'll also repair your credit every single month, which will put you in a nicer spot moving forward.
So you guys just you own the house. All my stuff is already moved out of the house.
Yep.
Like you guys it's still going to show up on my credit report, is what they're telling me.
So when we buy it subject to, there's a deed and a note, right? So we have the deed. Whoever has the deed owns the house and has all the responsibilities of the home. But the mortgage is just whoever holds the note. So when we buy it subject to, and this just happens in these situations, is we leave the mortgage in the seller's name, right? But we set up a servicing company. So it's facilitating those payments every month. So whenever you go look in 6 months to a year, it'll actually be, it can be removed from your debt to income because that debt is being serviced.
Oh, okay. So that it wouldn't hurt me if for renting somewhere or buying something else in the future.
No,
I kind of catch up after those.
Right. Because that's what the biggest question, everyone that we buy properties this way has the same question. That's why we want to make sure you guys understand it too. But yeah, the alternative, right, is either foreclosure is the worst thing, right? Because then you can't rent or buy. It just is a huge damper on the credit. But when we purchase it this way, your loan will be made current. So then they'll see, okay, he's in good standing. That'll improve your credit. And then we make those payments every single month. We just hold these as rental properties, or we do short-term rentals, long-term rentals. And then at that point, your credit's improving every single month and that debt is being serviced. When you're renting, it doesn't even matter, right? But say you do want to go buy a house in like a year or 2, 3 years, whenever you've kind of recouped your savings or whatever the case is, you'll be in a much better spot to go purchase a home.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. I am traveling right now for work, so I'm in New Hampshire right now, but I'm headed to Texas for the weekend. But like, do I actually have to come sign something at the title company?
No, so what you'll do, what we'd want to do is get something to title as soon as possible, and that's just through DocuSign, so I just shoot it to your email. But the closing wouldn't be, because it typically takes like 3 weeks to actually get this type of transaction closed. That would be done in person in DFW, or we just send a mobile notary. So like, let's say you are in New Hampshire, like I have a closing today and the seller lives in Houston, but the title company's in Dallas, so we just send a mobile notary to them.
Okay, yeah, that'd be perfect, so I wouldn't have to like run back in the middle of the week.
Right. And it wouldn't be, the closing wouldn't be, like I said, for a few weeks. We just have to do it at least, we have to close in time before the foreclosure, which is why it's kind of urgent. Like today, we would just want to get the docu submitted to the title company so they can start ordering like your reinstatement balance, your payoff, the mortgage statements, all that.
Okay.
So yeah, that's just like step one.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Is it just you on the deed?
Yes.
Oh, okay, perfect. Is there no like other spouse or anything?
No.